Hey guys, Bink here with Bink's Corvair Addiction. Today I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of little things under the 61 Rampside. Last thing I just got done was the brake lines and the fuel lines for it. Pretty much done. Got to do the brakes, put all that together. But well, the first thing I'm going to do today is the last person that had this one, these rear emergency brake levered dealio thingies. One of them, they had lost a little clip that goes on here. So what they did to keep it in there is they just hammered it and smashed it over and destroyed it. So there's a left and a right. So I did, like I said, I did find one, but it is the opposite side. So I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut this off. They got it pretty marred up. And it looks like there's like little teeth in there to hold it where it presses through. Now I asked Gary, I says, can I go ahead press this one out, press a new one? And he's like, I'm gonna try it. I have one for the other side. If this one to press out, this one should be able to. So I'll go ahead and try to do that. If it works, I'll sandblast this one up and get these painted. I'm just looking around. I could go outside, I guess, and pull a wheel and pull it apart and get one off, one out there. I guess I could do that as last resort. I gotta get that done. I'll be going under there, and Gary wants me to go ahead and run some wires before I put the fuel tank in. So he wants me to run 4 wires to the back, all the way to the back, leave a few extra feet, run it all the way in the cab, but I'm gonna make like a little wiring harness. He said, just extra wires to have for the future, and I'll find more out about that when I have him here tomorrow. I'm gonna pick him up. I says, I'll have breakfast. Joe will have breakfast here for you, so we don't have to go to McDonald's and all that stuff. They always get his coffee wrong. He says no cream, and they always put cream in it. He gets upset and throws it away. He bought me a wire at the flea market the one day. I have rolls of here, but he bought me a wire at the flea market, and he gave me a roll of heavy stuff to use one day. He's always looking out for me. Using a little 6mm socket. Oh, Jesus, that popped out real easy. Gary, nice, there's little teeth on there. There we go. Shoo. Pressed in, Gary. We got her fixed. All right, I'll find a clip for that. All right, that was easy. I mean, you know, the last person that worked on this, the brakes were done in Tucson, and he had a guy do the brakes, and that's how they fix it. I can't believe people do stuff like that, you know? Go get the proper little clip and put it on there instead of destroying the piece in part. Just, I don't know, people cut corners, irritates me. But anyways, not so bad. All right, guys, this is what I'm working on now. Okay, I'll smear my glasses up. I got you too. Gary had told me to run some wires. I am going to run a 10, he wants a 10 gauge all the way to at least the starter. And then the rest of them I'm gonna run 14 gauge. He said the 10 gauge we could run back all the way to the battery box area. But you don't have to go that far. The starter area is fine, but I'm gonna run it all the way back. There is a heavy one through there that I don't know if somebody added it or not. Come on. But it's about a 10 gauge, and it goes all the way, it was onto the battery, and it comes all the way up through here. And they have, it's just got a connection that plugs on the center of the fuse block panel on the one side where it connects on. But I don't know what else that's for. Don't go jumping, get in there. And the other ones, he wants me to run a small one for the fuel pump, and then he wants 4 ran all the way back. Yeah, 1 small to the fuel, and I'm gonna run 14 gauges for that, and 4 all the way to the back. I'm just gonna make a nice little harness and wrap it real nice, and leave a couple extra feet in the back and a couple extra feet here. He said just do it because then, you know, once it's in there, you don't have to use some of those wires, but they're nice to have for future other things. And he's gonna come. I'm gonna go pick him up tomorrow and having breakfast here, and he's gonna help me do a little work on this. And I was under there. This first time I looked at the wiring under there. If you want out, go jump that side. Go down and jump. I was under there and, buddy, you don't hurt yourself, okay? So I was under there and I was looking, and I know the guy I got it from had the radio fixed, and he was all happy about having that and the antenna fixed. Well, the antenna's loose. He paid to have the antenna fixed. So the antenna's loose. The radio's in there, and there's literally within maybe less than 18 inches of wire, there's five or six splices, like cut, splice tape, this crimped. I'm like, you know, I just would, this just drives me nuts. So that, and then there's another little wire that I think they maybe ran for the radio. It looks like it was connected up to the radio that they poked through, and it was under there. And when I was cleaning, the wire wheel grabbed it and snagged it and ripped it off, but it just comes up, and I seen it goes just a rail, and it's real small. I mean, it's really, really small. It's smaller, I think, smaller than 18. It's probably 20 gauge or something. It's tiny, so it's probably even incorrect size, I would think. 10 gauge and 14. So that's what I'm gonna run in there. I'll make a nice little harness. I'm gonna wrap it all real nice, and I'm gonna start getting double check that the wiring harness is on there, and there's a few spots I want to rewrap because the wire inside is real nice, but I just want to wrap it, make sure it's all real good since I'm under there, and you know, especially as where it goes up over the tank and everything. So, all right, let's get at it. Yeah, the one wire that they had all the way back to the batteries here, it's got a splice there, and it's a heavy wire, 10, and it goes down to probably 16 gauge here, and it comes up, and it goes to right there. I'll show you a picture of it, and then it's got a green wire that goes off, and it looks like, I don't know, it goes up top somewhere. So and then this other one here, this red one they got coming up. It's funny because they brought it up and they got this crap on there like that, and then they put a fuse, and then they got this here, their radio. It's just some tape crap. And this other red one here actually has 5, comes from the radio, but there's actually 5 splices on that thing. So, and it goes to a fuse, and then they got a taped here, and then up in here there's another cut and splice. It's crazy. What are you doing in here, buddy? You know, are you helping? Do you miss your you miss your sister from another litter? Yeah. Oh, I gotta play with him. Okay. All right, so I pulled my lengths of wire. I probably went a little overboard on the length. I went 22 foot, actually 22 foot 3 inches to be exact. I just put it into my vise, pulled it out to an area, cut it. And that's just what I did with all these lengths, except for the red one, which will go to my electric fuel pump. I chopped that one shorter because that's a way shorter run. The yellow one that one's going to go to the battery, or not the battery, it's going to go to the starter. Don't know. I'll find out what Gary's got going on with all that. That one, I still cut it the whole length. I know I'll be chopping it shorter, but I'd rather chop off a couple of feet or whatever than wrap it, make it all, and be short. So I'm going to start wrapping all this, and wrap a certain length, and then I'm going to go underneath, I think, and feed it through, and then kind of figure out where I need to wrap to till the red one, so I can let that one go over off to wherever I'm going to put the fuel pump. All right, guys, this is where I'm at so far. What I did is I ran a piece of wire. Well, I cut a piece of length that's this length is this red one. It's going to go to my electric fuel pump, and I cut a piece this length, and I ran it through I left 34 inches is how much I'm leaving through in there. It's way more than I need. And I took that wire and I put a vice grip on it, a needle nose vice grip, at the length of 34 inches. I pulled the wire through. I ran it where I was going to run this harness. And I came up with where I could stop my wrap and leave this wire come out of it here. And that should work out just fine. I was originally going to I wanted to put this through where your control, for your controls for your heat, and where your cables go through that little, it's like 3 inches by inch and something, inch and a half. And I tried to run a wire through there with one piece of wire with a piece of solid wire onto it. And it's tight in there. There's no way this is gonna fit in there. This is just too much. I mean, this is what Gary told me to run. This is like almost like another wiring harness. But there is that white wire that's the same gauge as this thick one here, the 10 gauge that does run through there. But you could probably get a couple wires through there, but I'm probably gonna have to pull out that emergency brake cable and change it. It's just gonna be more stuff to get in the way. So now I found a rubber plug that's basically directly underneath, directly underneath the fuse block. And right up to the end of the, I guess you can't call it a firewall, but right up to the sheet metal where it goes up. So I popped that off. I put a grommet in there, a rubber grommet, and put this through. It should be fine. There's another one down on an angle a little bit ways from it. There was that's where they ran like a little wire for the radio. It went all the way back to that's where they caught their power for the radio, all the way back to the battery with this little, it's got to be close to 20 gauge. It's real thin. So I'm almost done. Once I get to there, I'll stop and go. And then if I decide I wanted to wrap it a little more under there, I will. But so far this is gonna turn out pretty good. Now I know my dimensions to there. I can measure off how much more to wrap and then leave the heavy 10 gauge for the starter, and the yellow one's gonna be for the starter. That's what Gary told me to do. And these are length cut all the way to the back in case he decided to change his mind or something. I could wrap that in here and continue. So I'm gonna continue wrapping this up, and that'll be good. Another roll of tape, I guess. So I'm gonna stop her right there. I'm just gonna thicken that up and go back a little bit, because that's gonna go right through an area there with all the wires and stuff kind of goes through. So I want that extra thick there. So I'll continue that and start wrapping from there down and get my measurement for where the starter location is going to roughly be. All right, this is what I did. I got a wire in there because I was going to feed it through. That's why I put that on there. And I just wrapped that there at the top, which I'm going through an easier spot now, so I don't need all that because I'll never get it through where I originally wanted. So what I'm gonna do is I am allowing 7 inches here to go up where I had wrapped it, 7 inches up into the cab, and then I have all that. So it's total 34 inches, way more than I need, but maybe not. And I got it wrapped real nice, all the way down. I kept my wires pretty nice. And then I figured out where my fuel line's gonna be, or not fuel line, my power for my fuel pump. Now I can go ahead and wrap that a little more if I wanna. I need it at least there. You know, I could wrap it a little more once it's under there if I need it. So I got that and I wrapped it all real nice. And then, yeah, goes up over. And here is where Gary, I split it. These are the 4 that goes all the way to the back for accessories or something that he wants. So I got them. I just stopped. I left plenty extra here. And it might be too long as it is. And then he wanted a heavy, the 10 gauge. I split it, the 10 gauge, and another one. He wanted two wires, a 10, a heavy one, and a light one, a 14. That is for the starter, I think. The white one that's under there will probably pull out. That one goes all the way back to the battery, but he says you could go right off of the starter instead of going all the way back to the battery. So, but I did leave it long enough to go back to the battery. So I got that all done. I'm gonna go and put this in under there. All right, so that's where I was gonna try to run my wires, and that's where that one white one comes through. But it's gonna be too tight in there. So what I decided is this hole right over here. It had a plug in there. I took out, there was a hole in it that I don't know what it was used for. There's another plug here that they had ran for the battery, to the battery for the radio. So I'm gonna put a grommet in there and run I got some grommets. I'm gonna put a rubber grommet in there to protect it and run my wires through. All right, guys. So I taped up my existing wire harness. I pretty much taped the whole thing, even if it didn't need it. And I started running this one from back where my fuel pump will be. And I'm just kind of, I don't know if it's go on the outside of this or run it, I can run it right inside here. I don't know, is that going to be sharp and dig in after it goes down the road? Here it wouldn't, here it would. But I could put a piece of rubber hose around it and protect it, kind of like they did with one of them. So I think that's the way, I don't know. Decisions. They got that wire through there. Somebody else I think did it. That's that white one. Goes all the way from the back. I think it'll be fine in there. Like I said, I can wrap it a little heavier in that area. But I'm just pulling my new wires through here. And hopefully, well, it'll work. I'm gonna say, hopefully it'll work, but it'll work. So we'll get these pull it through and up, and then I'll figure out, I might have to put like one fastener in here to hold it. We'll see, because I gotta go kind of around the gearbox here, steering gearbox a little bit. So we'll see what I can do there. Having fun. My fuel pump line, I got it kind of ran along with the other wire here, and I got her up there. I see I'm gonna have to do some work bending this fuel line. It ain't gonna, it's how I got it from Clark, so I'm gonna have to fix that tomorrow. Anyways, that's that. I got the extra lines up here and extra back in here. So I got Gary coming. I'm picking him up in the morning, and we'll see what all this wiring's for. I think we'll be getting rid of that white one that was tapped in that's laying here. I think we'll be getting rid of that junk. All right, I got Gary over here in the shop. Yesterday I did the wiring harness per Gary, how he had wanted it. I ran the one heavy 10 gauge that Gary gave me for the start up by the starter, and there's a yellow 14 gauge, and then Gary says run 4 more. It's going to go to the back for other stuff.
Right.
Explain.
Okay. Beans I had underneath the vehicle already, and checking out the original wiring harness that goes under the body. Figured it'd be an opportune time to add the extra wires just in case you want to put in a spider dash into the inside the vehicle. It's taking out the old one, putting a spider dash in there. Now you have the wires in the back to power all the different instruments on the spider dash. So the 2 wires that I had Scott put in here, the red and the yellow, was to come off from the starter to run 12 volts into underneath the dash and take the pressure off from the original wiring harness. This will help with if he adds air conditioning to it, a radio with an amplifier that pulls more current. When you turn the headlights on, when you turn the wipers on, all of that takes power from the battery to go up under there to do that job. So if we add this, that will help the original wiring harness stay the original wiring harness.
Okay.
All of this helps.
Okay.
And with the addition of these few here, that will run the gauges on the Spider Dash.
Okay, what extra gauges are on a Spider Dash?
Well, they have cylinder head temperature. They have gas gauge. They have that's different than the original. They have I don't even remember. Oil pressure.
Okay.
Different things that you can put in there. The wires are under there to be able to hook them up without trying to add one more wire that's going to take the same amount of time as it does to add 4 wires and be done with it.
And we've seen the spaghetti, well, I wouldn't call it spaghetti, but they had ran a couple wires.
Yeah, they got green hooked up to blue, hooked up to yellow, hooked up to, and every piece, and it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, because this one, there was a little tiny red one that was about a 20 gauge that went up to the radio.
Yeah.
And then now we're under there, and there's another one that goes to the radio off the fuse panel.
Yeah.
And that one's got like 5 or 6 splices in it within 15 inches.
Right.
And that one white one they had going all the way back here that was about a 10 gauge went all the way up there, and they chopped into that, and they actually was running the fuel pump. Well, we got the fuel pump line all in there nice.
Right, and that's ran in with all of the wires that we ran from underneath the dash that's in this single loom.
Yeah.
And then the wires are branched off underneath for the fuel pump.
Nice and neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have a problem with them later on in life.
Okay.
You want to put it on the road and have fun with it, not park alongside the road and have problems with it.
Okay. Now Gary also said go ahead and use, like, we're gonna put a hidden switch in.
Yeah.
20 amp.
A toggle switch underneath there, so somebody, if they did steal the vehicle, and when you get out of the truck, you turn the fuel pump off. Somebody steals the vehicle, they get it started up, they drive it around the corner, there's no gas left in the carburetors, the engine will die, they won't sit out there in traffic and bang, 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 trying to get it start.
Yeah, and then you said go ahead and with that same wire up there, add the wire to the radio.
Right.
So then
That's on a, I think a 7 amp or a 10 amp fuse. Just add a little bit more amperage to it. So for your fuse, if your radio is on while you're driving down the street with the fuel pump on, which fuel pump will be on? So if it's a 7, add a 10 or 15 amp, or hell, even put a 20 amp in there. When it shorts out, it's going to pop the fuse.
yeah, I
no matter what.
can see some people might say, well, you can't turn your car off and listen to the radio, right? Because your fuel pump would have to be running for your radio, but
Not if you have a toggle switch.
yeah, but then your fuel pump's going to be on, right? Yeah.
Off or on.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. I could care less about the radio myself. I just want to hear an engine run.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why we did what we did with all that wiring the other day, and I did it all yesterday, and thanks to Gary. I'm gonna climb in his truck. Things I gotta do, take a video. And I forgot to put this on. I forgot to film this. I'm in the house editing, and I came back out here late at night to get her done. Anyways, here we go. Hey guys. Gary was here and he seemed to be very happy with the wiring. He kind of explained it to me and you guys out there too, what was done. I mean, I'm not quite sure about the heavy one and the other one that goes near the starter, but we'll find that out next time he's here. The four that go to the back, I understand that if you were running AC, any other things, like Gary says, your spider dash, I'm not planning on putting one in here, but if you did want to run some outer gauges, it's all in there, tucked in, nice and neat. Don't have to be adding wires later. Very good, very good. Anyways, yeah, Gary's happy. I'm happy. Hope you guys learned something out there out of this. Got some good information. I'm still learning. Let me know. Would you have done something different? You like the way I'm going with it? It's a better way of doing it. Let me know. Just message me down below. Send me a whatever deal. Everyone's been giving me pretty much thumbs up and enjoying it, saying this is going to be an awesome truck when it's done. It's going to be better than what it was. It's not a perfect truck. As I'm looking, this is rusty here. It should be taken off and cleaned, but it's not a perfect truck. But it's going to be decent. I just want a truck I can kind of drive and hopefully can kind of depend on. So, like I said, let me know how I did. And yeah, I guess that'd be about it here on this video till we get Gary back here. So, thanks for watching. Thanks, Corvair Addiction.